Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we're diving into a set of sources that outline a career. Well, a career so broad it almost defies a simple label.
It really does.
We're looking at the professional journey of a Dr. Sunil R. Parab, who is an academic, a practitioner, and he seems to blend expertise from ancient Indian medical texts with things like modern pharma production.
And not just that, also hands-on rural healthcare and even international research in, of all things, comparative mythology.
It sounds like three different careers rolled into one, doesn't it?
It does. So our mission today is to get past that impressive list of titles and really understand the thinking behind it. How do these fields, Ayurveda, global myths, corporate management, how do they not just coexist, but actually make each other stronger?
Right. And the hook here for you, the learner, is to see the power of that synthesis. This deep dive is really a case study in how the most potent expertise often comes from connecting fields we normally keep separate.
And the sources point to his core belief, which is this idea of continued upgradation of knowledge and skills, always learning, always connecting the dots.
So to do that, we've broken it down. We're looking at four pillars.
Exactly. The academic and Ayurveda foundation, then the clinical side, then the jump into industry and management, and finally, this fascinating global research into mythology. We need to look at all four to get the full picture.
Let's start at the beginning then. The bedrock. This foundation in ancient wisdom. His early academic career is very focused. BAMS in 2008, MD in Ayurveda Samhita in 2014.
And for anyone less familiar, the BAMS is your core degree in Ayurvedic medicine and surgery, and the MD is a series specialization.
And he didn't just get the degrees, he went straight into teaching.
Right away. As an associate and assistant professor, he's teaching the absolute classics. We're talking Ashtanga Hridayam Padartha Vinyan.
And the big one, the Charak Samhita.
Both parts of it, too, the Pravarta and the Uttarada, the complete text.
Okay, hold on. Just for context, the Charak Samhita is one of the oldest, most definitive treatises on Ayurveda. It's thousands of years old.
The very definition of ancient wisdom.
So here's the question. How does a scholar who is that deep in ancient knowledge then apply it to the complexities of modern disease?
And that's where his MD dissertation becomes so insightful. It wasn't just a historical paper. The topic was, and I'm paraphrasing here, the etiopathogenesis of autoimmunity from the Samhita perspective.
Autoimmunity.
Yes, with a specific focus on rheumatoid arthritis.
Wow. Okay, that is a huge pivot. Autoimmune conditions like RA they're defined by modern science, by, very specific molecular breakdowns.
Precisely. And what he's doing is a kind of translation. He's taking the ancient framework from the Samhitas, which sees disease as an imbalance of fundamental elements, the doshas, and he's using that lens to analyze a modern condition that we would define by T cells and inflammation markers.
He's building a bridge between two completely different models of the human body.
It's a way of making a holistic, centuries-old perspective relevant to a 21st century disease. It must give him a really unique clinical viewpoint.
And you can see that in his clinical work. He goes from being a residential medical officer to a health coach at Rameshwar Clinic, which sounds more grassroots.
Much more. And that's where he directly applies his management training. He wasn't just consulting. He was implementing a full-scale rural healthcare project, a project he actually designed while he was studying executive management.
So the business school theory immediately becomes a real-world plan.
A blueprint for impact. He was planning and running a primary health setup, organizing free medical camps for, specifically, rural tribal communities in Malva and Sindhudurga.
It just shows that for him, the knowledge has to be practical. It has to serve a real purpose. Okay, let's get to the second pillar, because this involves maybe the biggest professional leap. We go from teaching ancient Sanskrit texts to navigating a highly regulated commercial environment. Here's where it gets really interesting.
It's an abrupt shift, but it's crucial. He becomes production manager at a pharmaceutical company, Chuvadina Netraprabha, a 65-year-old company.
So this isn't a small traditional operation.
Not at all. And once you're in modern manufacturing, the rules are completely different. This is a whole other ballgame.
So what was he actually doing day to day? It sounds so far from academia.
It's the ultimate reality check. He's not just mixing herbs. He's responsible for, say, quality control of raw materials using lab investigations. He's supervising hygiene on the production floor.
And the big one.
And the big one, finalizing products by FDA norms, plus all the detailed paperwork, preparing batch sheets.
So he understands not just what's inside the bottle, but also the entire legal and regulatory framework that gets the bottle onto the shelf safely and ethically.
Exactly. He knows the ancient texts and the modern paperwork. It shows he's an expert in systems, not just medicine.
And you see that systems thinking expand into pure management, right? Like his marketing manager roles at Apex and Vertex hospitals.
Yes, focusing on corporate partnerships and organizing continuing medical education events for other doctors,
That's management, marketing, operations.
all rolled into one. And his freelance consulting is similar. He's planning operations for very specialized facilities like Panchakarma setups, which are these deep, traditional detox centers, and geriatric hospitals.
So he's looking at the entire healthcare ecosystem, from the clinician's office to the production line to the CEO's marketing strategy.
And there's a little hint of his other interests here, too. The source mentions he also did social media marketing for academic programs.
Wait, this reminds me. I saw two really surprising qualifications later in the material. One in something called Natya Shastra and another in museum management. How on earth did those fit in?
It's subtle, but it's so important. Natya Shastra is ancient Sanskrit dramaturgy. It's a guide to performance, storytelling, communication.
Ah, I see.
So in a marketing or management role, how you communicate is everything.
Mhm.
If you understand classical performance, you understand how to build a powerful public narrative. And museum management is about preserving and presenting knowledge, vital skills for any academic or clinical project.
That's a fantastic connection. Even his artistic pursuits are about structure, communication, and organization. Okay, so this brings us to the third pillar. And on the surface, this one seems the furthest removed. Comparative mythology. We've established his medical philosophy, but how does the Chark Samhita lead to the Joseph Campbell Foundation?
It's all about narrative. The ancient medical texts, you see, they aren't just dry science. They are philosophical narratives, deeply embedded in a culture's belief system.
So he's zooming out from the medical story to the human story.
Exactly. And his other degrees show that. Diplomas in comparative mythology, an MA in Indology, folklore, and intangible cultural heritage. He's building a global framework for understanding story itself.
The one that really stunned me was mythology and screenwriting.
Right. From Whistling Woods International. He's studying the ancient structures of belief and at the same time how we use those same structures in modern movies.
It's all about the application.
And his involvement is serious. His roles at the Joseph Campbell Foundation, which, is famous for mapping the hero's journey, are high level.
He starts as the mythological roundtable leader in Mumbai, but then he becomes outreach director for Asia and then regional coordinator for Asia and the Middle East.
Oh.
What does a role like that even do?
It means you're coordinating research, managing communication across cultures, setting academic agendas. You're basically a facilitator for philosophical research across a massive region. It requires all the skills we've been talking about: organization, cross-cultural competence, deep knowledge.
And his own research is just as global. The source lists so many presentations at the International Conference on Comparative Mythology, the IACM project.
Yes, often linked with Harvard. He's presenting papers in Edinburgh, Japan, Ireland. This is consistent, high-level international work over years.
And it's ongoing. He's slated to present on Himalayan studies at a conference in Germany in 2025. He's not just attending, he's contributing, he's driving research.
And to connect it back to his other skills, he's also preserving the raw data. He's involved in documenting, transliterating, and translating ancient manuscripts. He even ran a manuscriptology project for the University of Mumbai.
So he treats a fragile, ancient manuscript with the same meticulous care he'd treat an FDA batch sheet.
Exactly. Both require protocol, documentation, and preservation.
So what does this all mean? Let's try to tie it all together. We've got four distinct areas: a deep knowledge of ancient texts and modern disease, hands-on rural medicine, the operational rigor of FDA compliance and health systems management, and finally, international research coordination in mythology.
What it means is that Dr. Parab offers a kind of template for what expertise can look like today. He's someone who can approach a problem, say, scaling a hospital or understanding an autoimmune disease, through multiple lenses at once.
Lenses from the Samhita texts and from Joseph Campbell's work on the hero's journey.
And that synthesis creates solutions that are more complete, more multi-layered than what someone with a single specialty might see.
It's the ultimate lesson in additive expertise, isn't it? The production skills inform his clinical practice, the management skills make his rural projects possible.
And the mythological perspective helps him teach and communicate it all.
Which brings up a really important question. If we go back to his interest in Natya Shastra, in Sanskrit dramaturgy.
Right, the art of performance and narrative.
If we agree that healthcare relies so much on trust and communication and, human connection.
Then it raises a provocative thought. How could the principles from classical Indian dramatic theory, the techniques of performance, of narrative structure, of communication, how could those be used to fundamentally improve patient education
Mhm.
or enhance how we deliver healthcare? Or maybe even change how we document and present medical history itself in a modern clinic or a museum setting?